thinking he was just an ordinary passenger and influential minister of the country, was publicly insulted by an air hostess. But in the very next moment, something happened that changed the whole environment of the plane and shocked everyone. Write in the comments where you are watching from. And to hear amazing English stories, subscribe and stay with us. Let's begin. The year was 2025. At Chattagram's Shah Amanat International Airport domestic terminal, the afternoon was busy with a crowd of passengers. Inside the business class lounge in the calm and air-conditioned environment sat an elderly man. Kamal Chowdhury, profession, lecturer of economics at Chattagram University. He wore a simple Khadar Punjabi and white pajama, on his feet leather sandals, no expensive watch on his hand. Beside him, an old leather bag. He never liked luxury. On his face was the mark of deep thought. Tomorrow morning was the oath-taking ceremony of the new cabinet, and he was traveling to Dhaka to take oath as the next finance minister of the country. For the last time, as an ordinary citizen, without any protocol, he wanted to make this journey. Other passengers in the lounge, dressed in expensive suits and shiny clothes, kept looking at him. In their eyes was subtle neglect and the question, "What is this poor simple man doing here?" But Kamal Chowdhury did not pay any attention. After a while the announcement came, for Dhaka-bound flight BG6X7, business class passengers are requested to proceed to gate number 4. Kamal Chowdhury slowly stood up and walked toward the line. On duty, at the gate was a young air hostess named Shefali. She wore a bright uniform, reddish lipstick on her lips, and a professional yet arrogant smile on her face. She warmly welcomed the suited gentleman in front of her. "Welcome, sir." But when Kamal Chowdhury's turn came, her smile faded. She looked him up and down, measured him with her eyes, then said with her colleague beside her, "Sorry, uncle, but this is the business class line. Economy class is over there." Kamal Chowdhury calmly extended his ticket. Shefali almost snatched the ticket, looked at seat number 2. A frown appeared on her forehead. Surely some mistake had happened. She murmured to herself, then raised her voice. "Look, maybe you are misunderstanding. This seat cannot be yours." People around began turning their heads to watch. Kamal Chowdhury, in a calm voice, said, "But the ticket is mine." Shefali's tone became sharper. "People like you often use someone else's card to buy tickets, then come here to create trouble. Please don't waste our time. Move aside." From behind, a young passenger called out, "But he has the ticket!" A few people even took out their smartphones and started recording video, but Shefali did not stop. She waved her hand and said, "All right, you will get your money refunded. Now please clear the line." Kamal Chowdhury did not move even an inch. His calm yet firm gaze remained fixed on Shefali's eyes. He said, "I will sit in my seat." Seeing the situation getting heated, a junior attendant named Imran stepped forward. "What happened, Appa?" Shefali whispered, "Look, this shabby man is trying to force his way into business class." The ticket must be fake. Imran took the ticket and scanned it with the machine in his hand. The green light blinked. "The ticket is real, Appa," he said in a low voice. Shefali's face twisted with anger. "It doesn't matter," she shouted. "Look at his face." "Does he look like a 2A seat passenger to you?" Kamal Chowdhury let out a long sigh and said, "I will sit in my seat now." There was such firmness in his voice that Shefali hesitated for a moment. Seeing her authority slipping in front of the passengers, she unwillingly stepped aside. But before leaving, she hissed, "Let's see how long you can stay in that seat." Kamal Chowdhury gave no reply and walked inside. The cabin was cool and calm. Seat 2A was beside the window. He placed his old bag in the overhead bin and sat down in his seat. Shefali entered the cabin, stared at him sharply for a moment, then began serving water to the other passengers. But she deliberately skipped Kamal Chowdhury. When the passenger beside him asked for coffee, Shefali brought it with a sweet smile. But when it was Kamal Chowdhury's turn, her face hardened again. "What do you need?" Her voice carried no sincerity. "Just a little water, please," he answered calmly. Shefali brought the bottle and placed it on his table as if she were throwing it. The bottle nearly fell, barely saved. He quietly picked it up, took a sip of water, his face showing no trace of anger. On the other side sat Arshad Hake, a renowned industrialist of the country. He had been observing the whole incident. He disliked Shefali's behavior completely. Watching the man's calm manner, his silence, his face carried a kind of royal dignity that clothes could not hide. Later, when Shefali came with hot towels, she skipped Kamal Chowdhury's seat again. Now murmurs began among the passengers. One whispered to another, "Why is the air hostess behaving like that with the man?" When the plane entered Dhaka's sky, the city lights glittered through breaks in the clouds. After the plane landed at the airport, as everyone prepared to disembark, Shefali came to him one last time. In a low, poisonous voice, she said, "Because of filthy people like you boarding this flight, the entire cabin's atmosphere got ruined." Kamal Chowdhury looked at her, but once again said nothing. His silence seemed to inflame Shefali's arrogance even more. But Arshad Hake could not tolerate it any longer. He stood up and said in a stern voice, "Enough! You have crossed all limits. You have insulted not only this airline, but all of us passengers." Shefali, startled, said, "Sir, why are you interfering in this?" "Of course I will," Arshad Hake replied. "This gentleman has done nothing wrong. He bought a ticket and behaved politely the whole time. It is your behavior that is unforgivable." Other passengers also voiced their support. Shefali's face turned red with shame and humiliation. Just then the plane door opened, but outside, an astonishing sight. On the runway stood several black cars of state protocol, officials from the cabinet division, police, and a huge crowd of journalists. A red carpet had been rolled up to the plane's stairs. Passengers began murmuring in surprise. "Which minister or VIP has arrived?" Imran rushed to Shefali, his hands trembling with a phone. "Appa, look at this!" Shefali grabbed the phone and glanced at the screen. She froze. A news portal's breaking news. Tomorrow evening, the country's new finance minister, Kamal Chowdhury, will take oath. And below the headline, the photo was none other than the calm-faced man sitting in seat 2A. The phone nearly slipped from Shefali's hands. Her whole world seemed to spin. She quickly looked toward Kamal Chowdhury. He was quietly picking up his old bag, walking calmly toward the door. "Sir, wait, please," Shefali cried out in a broken voice. He stopped, turned back. Her lips trembled. "Sir, I am truly sorry. I didn't recognize you, sir." Kamal Chowdhury looked at her. In his eyes there was no hatred, no fire of revenge, only a deep sorrow and compassion. He said in a calm voice, "The respect every citizen deserves equally. Now you will give it only because you know I am a minister, isn't it? But respect is not for wealth or power. It is what every human being deserves, my dear." The words struck Shefali's chest like arrows. She could say nothing more. She just stared blankly. As Kamal Chowdhury stepped out of the plane, camera flashes lit up everywhere. Officials greeted him with flowers. Before getting into the car, he turned once to look back at the plane. Inside, passengers watched through the windows, in many eyes tears of shame and regret. What happened next spread rapidly. Videos recorded by passengers went viral on social media. A storm of criticism erupted. The airline authority dismissed Shefali from her job and issued a public apology to the nation. But in his short oath-taking speech, Kamal Chaudhary said, "I have forgiven her." Punishment cannot change a person. I hope this incident teaches us all a great lesson, how wrong it is to judge people by their clothes or appearance. That one event brought a quiet change across the country. Workers in the service sector learned to show respect even to ordinary-looking people, because now they knew the simple man standing before them might also be someone silently working for the nation, someone like Kamal Chaudhary. This story is created only for your entertainment. Imagine if our country truly had a minister with such a good heart. How did you like the story? Give a like, share it kindly. We'll meet again in the next story. Tell us in the comments where you are watching from. And to hear more wonderful English stories, subscribe and stay with us. Until then, stay well and stay safe.